Hello there, welcome back to the Ogre, the old Git reacts, reviews and oft times reminisces. Of late, I've always liked to sort of underproduced or poorly produced music of one form or another, as long as it has its impact. I don't mean necessarily a barrage or volume or what have you, but certainly as long as it's got, as long as it tickles the synapses enough to keep me intrigued, then I don't care what the production's like, to be honest. But I found in the world of blackish metal that this year in particular, I've been intrigued by one or two artists that have sort of stuck a hook in me and dragged me in for a listen. And this is the latest one, well, however that may be pronounced, Blacnk. Maybe, who knows. Now my favourite two tracks on here, or my favourite track is probably too long to stop you getting bored with, if not with a song with me waffling on about it. So I've picked the shortest song, which just because it isn't my favourite doesn't mean to say it hasn't got its merits. I still like it very, very much. And so let's have a listen, see what you think. Takes a little while to get started, so if you want to go and make a cup of tea, feel free. But it is building the moment. This sort of reminds me of on those perfect summer days when you laid on your back in a field of hay, staring up at the sky and watching clouds pass by. And if you look for long enough, those cloud forms change constantly. They may look, from afar look like it's just one shape, but as you look, those forms shift and change and never stay the same for very long. This is what this sort of reminds me of, really. It's sort of ephemeral and transient and doesn't really, of course it's got substance, but that substance changes and it's almost fractal in a way that you know, the more you look at it, the different shapes it presents to you in an aural fashion. If this isn't your thing, but you've been curious enough to give me a few moments of your time and have a listen to it anyway, you might think that this is just noise, and to some degree, of course, it is. But having listened to enough of these sort of artists by now, it isn't easy to make this sound engaging. It would be very easy with such a it's essentially monochrome sound for it to get too boring too soon. But there has to be, the shapes have to shift, the shadows have to flicker, and you know, and there has to be the odd spark in the retina or spike in your eardrum to keep you interested. And this is something that this artiste manages to do with what is essentially, as I say, quite a monochrome presentation, but it engages me, and that is the main thing. What I also meant to say is that there's movement here, even though there's no rhythm section as such. So when the emphasis kicked back in there, is it drums? I don't know. There is a very subdued or push to the background drum sound there. There's no rhythm to it that you can make out, or you know, it's just a barrage and a noise really in the background. But what it also is, there is a cymbal shimmer, if that's what it is. But there's a shimmer which very much reminds me of a sunlight rippling on the water on a lake. You know, that's sort of almost too bright to look at in many ways when you see it, and that shimmer is there in the presumably cymbals, which sort of, I mean, this is described as atmospheric psychedelic black metal, and if you're going to call it that, you need some aspects that hint to that, and part of the psychedelic side of that would be the other than the sort of the fact that you perhaps need to have dropped something to get full benefit of this. Maybe not for me, to be honest, but the shimmer of those symbols would enhance that, I reckon, if you were into that sort of thing. I don't know about you, but there seems to be a sense of two dynamics here. One is the perceived, more than anything, rapidity of a drum sound rather than a drum rhythm in the background. But there's also a sense for me of a much slower movement going off here, and it reminds me of when you see pictures of an oil tanker or the like having crashed and spilt its load into the sea, and you see the waves breaking against a coastline. They're very sluggish, far slower than you'd expect waves to be. And for me, there's an aspect of that to this. There's a sort of slow rolling, blackened, thick sound, which reminds me of those polluted waters. So there you go. I don't think that's going to fill any dance floor anytime soon. But a lot of my music is I listen to through headphones, and often in the dark, in contemplative moments, and this I find ideal for that. It's almost as if he presents you with your own canvas to paint upon, or at least gives you the canvas and the paint, and you smudge and splodge whatever you like on there to paint your own picture. As I say, it paints pictures for me, and I'm sure any picture that's painted for you will be totally different to the way I see it, and that is the beauty of that sort of music. You make of it what you want. It inspires different people in different ways, and long may it do so. So there you go. I wonder how far down this particular rabbit hole I'm going to fall. Will it be to the extent whereby I can't scrabble my way out in the end? I don't know. Descend into madness. Not of that, rather. Clicky bollocks if you wish, and I'll catch you all next time. Cheerio.